Hi, my name is Tiffany Stradinger, and this is my criminal theory.
There isn't only one explanation about why crime happens. Even the most accurate theory will have outliers that do not go along with it. Some theories oppose each other, but some can be combined to create a more thorough explanation. My criminal theory is that criminal behavior is caused by the way a child is raised with an influence from variations in gene alleles, along with the environment a person lives in. My theory uses a combination from psychological, biological, and sociological perspectives.
From a psychological perspective, thoughts of committing crime are caused by incorrect parenting methods. Parents need to teach their children the difference between right and wrong at an early age, or else they will grow up thinking that anything goes. In an article titled The Relationship Between Parenting and Delinquency, the author believes that children are more likely to rebel and commit crimes if their parents are strict, discipline harshly, and speak in a negative way. This way of parenting can lead to a child with mental illnesses that struggle with life or does not understand how to act correctly in society. They also cannot distinguish between right and wrong, thus making them want to commit crimes. The author also said that when parents use a supportive and loving approach to raising their child, the child is less likely to act deviantly. This fits in with the psychological approach because depending on the way a child is raised, their brain thinks and acts differently, leading some to commit crimes.
From the biological perspective, certain people can be more likely to commit crimes because of the genes they have. In the article titled Nature versus Nurture, Which Causes Crime, the author, John Heger, explains that there are certain genes that can be activated depending on the surroundings they are raised in. If a child is raised in a stressful environment, or if the parents are angry and act aggressively most of the time, the MAOA gene can be activated and make a person more aggressive. With this aggressive gene turned on, a person will have a worse temper and act more violently than those who do not have this gene expressed. A person with this aggression and bad temper is more likely to commit a crime than someone who does not have this gene. This biological perspective goes along with the psychological one because if the child was raised in a loving home that is positive and praises wanted behavior, the child wouldn't have this gene activated and they would have a better understanding of what is right and what is wrong.
From a sociological perspective, those who watch others commit crimes will be more likely to do it themselves. If a child is living in a household where the parents commit crimes frequently, not only will the child grow up thinking that it is okay to do, but it will make them want to do it as well. In the article Stress Can Trigger Violent Crimes, the author, Abigail Beale, includes a study done by the University of Oxford. In the study, 3 groups of people were being tested: those with mental illnesses, those who abused drugs, and a control group of normal people. All 3 groups were exposed to crime and then observed to see if the people would commit crimes after that. The results of the study were that the control group crime numbers were around the same as the other 2 groups, meaning that the exposure is what caused the crime rather than the mental illnesses or drugs. Someone is also more likely to commit crimes if they are in a stressful or tough financial situation. According to my theory, not everyone who has abnormal behavior will commit crimes. The consensus theory from the textbook states that a society as a whole agrees upon what is right and wrong. By looking at this theory, people can have abnormal behaviors and not commit crimes as long as their parents teach them about what is considered a crime in our society. For example, someone diagnosed with an anxiety disorder could have behavioral symptoms such as hypervigilance, irritability, or restlessness, which are considered abnormal behaviors for someone without the disorder. However, even with these abnormal behaviors, the person with anxiety could still be taught what is right and wrong and not commit any crimes. By using this theory, there is a way that crimes can be prevented. Because criminal thoughts start when a child is not in a loving, warm, and caring home, there can be policies implemented that monitor how a parent raises their child. Firstly, new parents can be taught that the supportive approach to raising a child is the best way in terms of making sure they do not commit crimes. After educating new parents, there can be a list of standards that parents have to go by when raising a child. These standards can include the parent using the supportive approach to raising, meaning that they are loving, supportive, and praising wanted behaviors so that the child is nurtured and learn the differences between right and wrong. Adults should be evaluated on how they would choose to raise a child before they have one. If they do not follow these standards, even after being educated on why they are there, then the person should not be allowed to have a child. This way of prevention does restrict some rights, but it is for the greater good to have a society with less criminal activity and an increase of positive, happy, and law-abiding people. Here is a list of my references. Thank you for listening to my video. Bye!